Okay, semi-final fixtures are confirmed at the T20 World Cup. Super 12 phase was absolutely amazing. We witnessed a dramatic upset earlier today. We will talk about it. But finally, the two semi-finalists are going to be India versus England at Adelaide, and then Pakistan versus New Zealand at Sydney Cricket Ground. So these are going to be the four teams. So we have a panelist. We'll find out what they predicted at the start of the tournament versus where we are. Sanjay, welcome back from London. Vishak, welcome back from Bangalore. And Shivam Gupta, Sarfaraz Khan और पृथ्वी शॉ का सेंटिमेंट कैसा है?
Nee, I think they got a. I mean, I'm not sure if we can call SMAT a constellation thing, but I think. See, but I'm not that surprised. I don't think why people are talking about, with all due respect, about Prithvi Shaw. I don't. Being very brutally honest, I don't see him in the scheme of things. Sarfaraz Khan, yes, I think Robin Uttapa summed it up in one line. What's the point of having domestic matches, right? If one person is literally banging down the doors. He's not banging on the door. He's bringing the doors down of the selection committee, and still you are not picking him. And I think one of the person from our group posted on the WhatsApp group that just pick these guys, have the guts to lose one or two matches. At least you're investing in the future. So definitely Sarfaraz Khan, not picking him a big miss. But coming back to the cup, I think probably see the thing with New Zealand is if before the tournament you ask anyone who is your top four, I don't think anybody would count New Zealand in the top four. But inevitably, every time New Zealand will be there in the semi-final, and that's what has happened. For me, the top four were Australia, Pakistan, India, and England. So I think the only difference is being New Zealand instead of Australia. But apart from that, I think on the same page. I'm just wary of Pakistan. See, I'm not much of a philosophical guy, but just the way they have entered, and I did not follow the '92 World Cup, right? But some people are saying it was something similar. They were almost eliminated, came back in, just by a barest of the margin, and then went out to win. So I'm just a little wary of Pakistan, but yeah, I think more or less on similar lines. The top four semi-finalists.
Excellent. बात करते हैं. We will talk about all the games, but today it was triple header. Started with South Africa versus Netherlands, then Bangladesh versus Pakistan, and then India versus Zimbabwe. We'll talk about all the three games. Let's start with Vishak, who woke up early India time to watch Netherlands script a historic win. How happy are you with that result?
First of all, pretty excited to wake up at 5 o'clock and watch a game in Australia. It's been like every year we get only once this season, right? So, and this season, like there was not a game at 5 o'clock. Always games used to start at 8:30 or 9:30. This was the first time the game started at 5 because we had a triple header today and there was no Perth. Previously, when there were triple headers, somehow there was a Perth game and they usually used to start at 8:30 or 9:30. So it was pretty exciting to, and the game was worth a watch. The way Netherlands played, like they were fearless, they played pretty well in the power play, got a very good start. Seemed to lose their way in the middle when the spinners bowled, but again, wonderful finish by Ackerman, got them to a decent score. But I would say more than Netherlands winning it, it was South Africa who choked, like the usual C word, and yeah, like it was South Africa's game to lose and they lost it.
Yeah. And Sanjay, what lucky World Cup is this? We did not have super overs so far, but we have lots of upsets. Ireland defeating England, Namibia defeating Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe defeated Pakistan, and now Dutch defeating South Africans, who are in absolute shock. Mark Boucher released a statement saying that early starts, which is 10:30 a.m. starts, probably are the contributing factors. But is that really so, or do you think Dutch played really well and South Africa messed it up?
But first of all, just to the tournament, I mean, it's been a fantastic tournament so far. A lot of people expected it to be, high scoring games, but because it's early in the summer, the bowlers are getting their due as well. And it's been a great contest to watch. Also, all the new teams, so no one's missed West Indies in this tournament at all, because all the new teams have given a great account of themselves, have caused a big upset. Just goes to show what T20 cricket is. It just bridges, reduces the gap between the teams. And all these newcomers, the new teams, they just need more people to play them. Stop these bilateral series where only the top four teams are playing each other. I think for world cricket, it'll be great if more teams start touring these countries and give them more exposure, because you could have a 20-team T20 World Cup and be a lot of fun, a lot of upsets. No one's been unbeaten in this tournament, so that just shows how great the tournament has been so far. Full credit to Netherlands. I mean, the match started at midnight in UK time, so I had an alarm for around 3 o'clock just to check on whether South Africa is doing anything ridiculous. And they needed 40 runs in the last 20 odd balls, and I watched the last four overs. If you're a Pakistan fan, I think this is exactly what you would have wanted. Just playing the next game afterwards. So full credit to Netherlands. I think South Africa will feel extremely disappointed. Although I must say that had it not been for rain in that game, because that's the only game among the top three which has got washed out effectively, they would have easily had a better run rate. They would have got 6 points, and they would have tipped either Pakistan or India. So yes, they played poorly against the weakest team of the group, but yeah, they didn't have luck in their side, but they had their fortunes in their own hands. So yeah, it's a tough one to take, but I think you can probably blame the captain for it.
Yeah, and there is a recap. Netherlands batted first and posted 158 at a loss of 4 wickets, which we thought was a very competitive and pressure cooker situation for South Africa. And South Africa managed only 145, won by 13 runs Dutch. So Shivam, did you expect that result? That changed the dynamics completely. And you talked about Pakistan, but I think that Netherlands win gave Pakistan that boost. And why would you be concerned if Pakistan goes to finals versus India, assuming? What are the concern areas? Is it just the rivalry, or are there any areas India is weaker than Pakistan?
No, see, I mean, Pakistan has already beaten us once in the World Cup, right? So they have now come out of that stigma, right? That they can't beat us at the World Cup stage, right? And now that once they have beaten us, I mean, facing Pakistan in a final will be too much of a situation for us, right? Yes, 2007 it was a different ball game at that time, right? And I mean, see, the pressure would be tremendous on the Indian team. So I don't want to jump the gun, but and trust me, Pakistan's bowling is way better than India. It's just their batting that's the problem. So it's always been that case, right? Pakistan's bowling against India's batting. But having said that, that's in the future, so let's not talk about it. But I think Pakistan Bangladesh game. I think that also was quite a close game with South Africa. Yes, it was completely unexpected. We were expecting them to top the group, and now suddenly they are eliminated. But I think the Pakistan Bangladesh game, that Shakib's wicket was the turning point. Shakib there for probably till the end of the innings. Bangladesh scoring around about 140, 145, and who knows, maybe Bangladesh would have been the fourth semi-finalist, right? And I think it's been a pattern this World Cup. If you see the third umpires, they have been in a hurry to take these decisions. And I think this is the third time where there were two controversial runouts. I think both involving India, wherein the hand that hit the wicket first and ball came later, but it was given out. And then this incident of Shakib, it was clear daylight between the bat and the ground, and the umpire said that the bat has hit the ground. And the funny part is, when the India Zimbabwe match was going on, see, all these crucial decisions, third umpire was in a hurry. But there was one stumping opportunity against Sikandar Azhar. India had appealed for stumping. Third umpire said, no, wait. First, show me the front on angle. I want to see the snick. So you had time to check the edge when the fielding team has appealed for the stumping. But those three crucial runouts and review decisions, you were in a hurry. So questionable third umpiring this World Cup, and I think Pakistan has had a backdoor entry now. Who knows what they're going to do, especially with that bowling attack where all your four bowlers bowl at 145 plus, and our fastest bowler is Hardik Pandya. So just wary of Pakistan now.
Yeah, and for folks who are watching and following us, out of the panel of four you see on the screens, only Sanjay predicted that Pakistan will go all the way through. So let's bring him in. How happy are you with the result that Pakistan is into the final four now?
I'm very happy for Pakistan, to be honest, because after India, I'd want some Asian team to win the cup, just the Asian dominance to continue. And it's amazing that at one point Bangladesh, who their captain said that they have not come here to win, had a great chance. Had they got another 20 runs, you saw what the Netherlands having that additional 20 runs made a difference to their defense of their score. So another 20 runs, and it could have been Bangladesh into the semi-finals, and who knows what could have happened. So yeah, I think very happy for Pakistan. All the sponsors, everyone would be hoping it's an India-Pakistan final. But I think the biggest challenge for India is, yes, no one in India wants to face New Zealand because they have had the better of India in all the knockout games, unfortunately, in the past. So yeah, but England is going to be a huge challenge for India, I think, because they've not had their best performance yet in the World Cup, and unlike say Pakistan, who've had two effectively do or die games, India has not had a knockout games so far. So reaching the semi-final is a result only because last year we had a diabolical World Cup. But if we go out in the semi-finals, it's not going to be good enough for the Indian fans because everyone's expecting at least a final and at least go all the way because it's been what 9-10 years of any ICC tournament, ICC trophy. So yes, happy for Pakistan. I think no one would want to face them in the knockouts.
And Vishak, any surprises with the final four, and what do you reckon India should do? Because if you look at, we topped the group one and we only lost one game to South Africa, which was also a decent enough game. It was not like a thrashing. So, one, are you surprised with the semi-finalists? And two, what should India do to propel from here?
Um, like with my predictions, like I did not predict New Zealand, I predicted Australia, so that's the only change. But I'm pretty sure New Zealand always surprises in world tournaments. You never count them among the favorites, but somehow they punch above their weight and just get into the knockouts. And so I think that's the only surprise to me because I South Africa we all knew even if they would choke at crucial moments, so we didn't expect them to go all the way. So I think nobody had South Africa in the list for the top four. So the only surprise is here is New Zealand. And coming to India now, I think one good advantage is like the two semi-finals are being held at place where the ball turns a lot and the pitches are being slow. So it will be advantage for the both the Asian teams because they have got good spinners, like both the teams, both Pakistan and India. So I think England also, if you see even in the previous game, they almost screwed it up. The last game, it's like they got a fantastic start and they couldn't play spin later on, and they lost a heap of wickets. Except for that, Ben Stokes just remained calm and closed it out. But if it was another 10 runs, they would have lost the game. So
Hmm.
that's how close it was. So England middle order is, I think, against spinners is acceptable. So I think it would be advantage India considering it is being played in either it is playing in Adelaide where it spins. Like ideally, I would have liked India to play at Sydney because that is where it spins the most. But Adelaide is not that bad as well. But the
Adelaide
only thing
is
we should be wary of is a short square boundaries, and we should be bowling quite cleverly over there because you cannot bowl short. Like Hardik Pandya's length is usually short, and if you keep bowling that length, you'll get smacked in the short square boundaries. So I think the Hardik Pandya has to change his length. We have to bowl a little fuller on these pitches, make them hit straight where it is the longer boundaries. So we need to change our plans a little bit. Yeah, in MCG, these kinds of plans work because the square boundaries are longer, but you need to adapt to the situations, adapt to the grounds, and like adapt your line and length accordingly. So that would be the main challenge for India.
Adelaide, silver lining is it's Virat Kohli's favorite ground. So hopefully we are going to get a good solid innings from him. Yes, spin will play a factor. Both the Asian teams will bank upon it. New Zealand are weak on spin. Sodhi and I don't Santner and Sodhi will they play both spinners in Sydney will be the question mark. And from England perspective, Adil Rashid is in pretty good form. The death bowling is good. So I think the worthy four teams have made it. It'll be fascinating to see how or who will get into the finals. So Shivam, maybe question for you: do you think India England game at Adelaide will we see a Munkard opportunity coming through from Ashwin on that day?
Yeah, I don't mind. Do monkey, whatever you want to do. Just win that match. Just win that match. You smash heads, break their helmets, do whatever you want to do. It's very difficult with India's bowling speed. But just on that point, Vishak, see, I think we should not underestimate the spin bowling of New Zealand and England. See, I'm a big fan of Adil Rashid. Yes, this time he has not picked up a wicket, but I really respect him as a leg spinner. And I think East Shodhi and Santner both are really good spinners. The last World Cup, India were just not able to get out of a hole that Santner and Sodhi had put them. And I think that's where India has missed the trick. See, Adelaide, SCG, both help in spin bowling and generally also see we are in the last stage of the World Cup, right? So pitches are have slowed down. If you look at today's match as well, just compare this MCG track with the one where the India Park match happened, right? So the pitches have overall slowed down. And I'm not really sure about playing both Ashwin and Akshar in the knockout matches. Maybe now we don't have any other option just because we have not tried Chahal till now. So maybe it's better that you back this team that we have. Probably just get DK in instead of Pant. Personally, I would have liked to see Pant throughout the tournament, but they Rohit Sharma will get DK in for obvious reasons, and I think India has missed the trick by not playing Chahal because I personally don't see Ashwin and Akshar both playing in the knockout matches. Uh, Ashwin still he has that experience. Akshar Patel, I have not. I mean, I don't know, especially the fact that he plays for DC and prior to DC he's played for Punjab Kings, so he does not have knockout match experience, right? So I think that's one trick where we have missed, of not playing Chahal throughout the tournament.
Definitely, Shivam. Because even if there was one game where we had to play Chahal, it was this game. And if you are planning to use him as a trump card or something in the later stages, this was the best game. I don't think India are having any of those ideas. They want to continue with the same team. But I think if you see, every team has a wrist spinner except India in the 11. So I think you need to have a wrist spinner who is an attacking option in the and can pick wickets rather than and even if you see Akshar Patel today, he even against after they lost 5 wickets, he got tonked and went 3.2 overs. He got tonked for around for about 40 runs. I I'm always of the opinion that Akshar Patel in Indian conditions is good, but when he actually because there is that unpredictability of whether the ball will turn or not, so people will play for the turn and miss the straight deliveries. But in overseas conditions, his ball whenever he bowls, it tends to come straight. You can just line him up and hit him. So that has been the main problem. Even if you see in the first game, Iftikhar Ahmed did the same, and today also he got it for the same way. They just lined him up and hit him straight. So I think that is where Akshar Patel is a little bit weaker, and I think Jadeja in this kind of things would be much smarter because he varies his line and length, varies his pace, whereas Akshar Patel I think bowls at a similar pace kind of, and is getting lined up easily.
Yeah, and Andy Handy, Anirudh Chakra, who are our usual suspects, are back, and they're asking a couple of pertinent questions. But so why don't we bring in Sanjay Dubey? Your thoughts on KL Rahul intent, playing with the mindset of Barber and Temba. Today he played well, around 45 strike rate, Sanjay.
Yeah, and especially I think we touched upon it in one of the earlier matches as well. It's been difficult. The ball has been swinging, so I have no issues with openers taking time, especially with Rohit being in a very poor form. So and he made it up. He's got 250s back to back now. So I don't have any issues with KL Rahul's form at this point. The question mark would be whether he can deliver in a big game, because our go-to player in most of the big games has been Virat Kohli. If you look at all the knockouts, let's look at the last semi-final India played. India had that 2019 ODI World Cup semi-final, lost to New Zealand. No one put their hand up. Pretty much the entire batting, apart from Jadeja, it was in a losing cause. You go to 2016 semi-final, it was only Virat Kohli in that T20 World Cup against West Indies. He scored almost all the runs, 60% of the runs. Even if you go back to further, in the past, you need probably a team performance. You can't have all your senior players just not delivering throughout. So I'm hoping that Rohit, Rahul, or two of these guys will have a fantastic game, and it's impossible to call out who's going to win. I think it'll be a very close margin in terms of who goes through, and it could be a piece of brilliance, or it could be a piece of bad umpiring, a third umpire or whatnot, or it could be a mistake that leads to the the other team getting out. On Pant and DK, I have no idea why Pant played today's game if they want to get DK in, because it's not that DK has set the world on fire in this tournament so far. So any time he could have got in the middle would have helped, unless they've already decided that DK is done now, we're going to back punt for the next couple of games, which then would make sense. Also, I fully agree on Yuzichel. He's not yet played a T20 World Cup game. Last year, we were all saying why he's not in the squad. This is exactly why he's not in the squad, because the team doesn't believe in him. Is what I'm thinking. Because all you want is finger spinners with having some batting experience. Although I must say that Ashwin has delivered with the bat in crunch situations. Those 10 runs against the other team the other day, then that knock against Pakistan for that two balls. I think Ashwin will definitely play, and with his batting, Akshar will probably end up playing with a bit of turn. I don't know. I think it'd be too much of a challenge for Yuzi to straight come in a knockout game, and too much to expect of him as well, because he's not had any chance. So I'm hoping that one of the senior guys put their hands up and get us through to the semi-finals, and then we can deal with New Zealand or Pakistan who we want.
To hell with seniors. Let's go with Sky, who will single-handedly win his matches. Uh, Vishak, Anirudh Chakra has a counter for you. Aksar can never be dropped. He's the only left-handed bat in the team. Look what happened when we went with Huda.
No, I'm not asking to drop him. I'm saying like what is the problem with Aksar? At this point of time, you don't have a because we need someone who's an all-rounder at number 7. But in this 15, he is the best bet. So I think if Jadeja was there, Aksar wouldn't have been in the squad. Now we have no choice. We have to play Aksar. But I think we should have had Chahal play at least this game, is my point. Because Chahal, being a wrist spinner, and he could be quite handy. He has a good googly as well. He could be handy in those Adelaide conditions in the semi-finals. But you cannot bring a player straight away into the knockouts. The pressure of the knockouts is different. You need to ease them into the team and then get them into the knockouts.
Unless
So
you're a Lendl Simmons who can just fly away and do what he can.
yeah, that is all one of cases. Right? That too is coming. He came just out of the squad and he just blew away.
Yeah,
So that was a different case altogether. But uh, but the pressure of the knockouts, the semi-finals, and the finals. You saw what happened to Sri Lanka in 2011, right? They got some because there were some injuries. They just got some new players in, and they couldn't perform. Except for Mahela Jayawardene, they couldn't have even got to a decent score on that day because they got a couple of new players because of some injured players rather than backing the players in the in their 15, and they got them replaced and got them into the 11. So even like it is not easy to perform when you are directly put into a pressure game. So I think it will be better that India continue with the 11, whatever. And I would also want Pant to play now that they've given him a game. And it would be decided. Today, I think he got out to a great catch. But still, I would still criticize his shot making at that point because at that point, you've just lost 3 wickets. Maybe he could have consolidated, looked at for a couple of overs, and then gone about because Sky was there at the other end, was actually doing the scoring. Maybe that is one thing I would be critical of because he just wants to play his shots. He doesn't. He can't rotate the strike in T20 or T20 or something. So that is his main weakness. So that is the reason like he's not being picked, because his batting in T20s has been susceptible.
And Shivam, let's bring you in from a punt opportunity. His body language today seemed less in confidence, understandably. And yeah, as Aniruddha points out, he got out to an excellent catch. Do you agree with Vishak that this is probably the cause of his downfall in not being part of the 11, that he doesn't have ability to rotate the strike?
No, see, I think Pant, we should not blame Pant for his body language if his body language was bad. I think the complete blame should be on Rohit Sharma. At the toss, he said that we are playing Pant because he's the only one who has not played a match in this tour. So what are you trying to say? एहसान थोड़ी कर रहे हो कि चल आए हो एक मैच खिला लेते हैं. At least you could have said, even if that was the point, he could have simply said that we want to try out Pant. DK as a niggle. Niggle is a very popular word these days. So he could have said this, right? That we want to try out Pant. That maybe if DK is injured, so Pant is there for the knockout. He straight away saying, नहीं इसको खिलाया नहीं है, तो एक बैटिंग दे देते हैं. So
Harshit
if
भी
his
ऐसा
body language was
Harshit भी
absolutely, if his body language was down, so
Harshit
no, Harshit Patel played in the warm up. He said
Harshit,
this. Rohit Sharma clarified
really the
that he
point.
has not played in the entire tour. Yeah, Vishak.
Yeah, he said that point that यही एक बंदा है जो नॉकआउट्स में भी नहीं
पूरा
खेला,
नहीं खेले.
बस दे रहे. So that was
Maybe
completely different.
Urvashi would have called. Urvashi would have called. Just digressing a little bit. कि इसको एक मैच तो खिलाना पड़ेगा. So, and I think, see, I absolutely agree with Anirudh. Yeah, it was an excellent catch. And see, to Vishak's point, Pant did score two or three singles, rotated the strike at that point. We were behind the ball, right? So we needed acceleration, and the ball was in his slot. Just that maybe it did not come off the middle, and on some other ground it would have gone for six. And with Pant, you have seen him shots like this, right? One-handed six and all that. But yeah, see, with the only reason I see that DK is there in this team, apart from that one good or rather great IPL that he had, is Pant has not delivered in the T20 format. I agree with Vishak on that point, right? He has been a blistering Test match player, great ODI. He scored that century in England also. In T20, he has underperformed, right? So, and that gave the opportunity to DK. He delivered in the IPL, and that's where we are. But I think enough on all this. I mean, let's talk about Sky. Uh, I think, see, we've seen Babar at number one, we've seen Rizwan at number one, David Malan also is a number three bat, Virat Kohli has been number one T20 batsman, Rohit Sharma. The common thing about all these is they're either openers or they're one down players. For a number four player to be T20 rank one, to basically go from ball one, I mean, we had said that DK is a finisher, Miller is a finisher. Sky has a much better strike rate than them. And he goes at ball one. I mean, just the kind of shots that he's playing when he crouches and he's almost, I don't know, he's what, practicing yoga on the pitch or doing whatever. And all those shots end up going for six. It's absolutely crazy. I was a big Dilshan fan. Then ABD came into the picture. Big ABD fan. But I think Sky has just taken this whole 360-degree thing to a new level. I mean, crazy. Absolutely breathtaking hitting.
Vishak?
One more thing, when Sky bats, right, it seems like he can only see gaps in the field. All the shots goes into the gaps, kind of like, and even like he picks the field pretty well. And even in one of the interviews, he said like when the bowler comes into bowl, he doesn't. He always has 2 to 3 shots in his mind, and he just executes one of them, seeing like how where the bowler has executed. So that's how clear, that's the clarity of mind, kind of. He knows this is what he's targeting, and he has his options open as well. So that is where I think he's succeeding, and the way he is actually picking the field, playing with the fielders. Like there were a couple of there was one phase where he hit a couple over fine leg, and a fine leg fielder was placed, and immediately he hit next ball he hit a 6 over covers when the cover fielder was brought in. So that shows the awareness of the field, and he knows like where the bowlers will be bowling. So like he's picking up, he's seeing the field, and he is actually, the bowlers bowl to their field. Like, what are his options? So he's apart from premeditating, as like there is some level of premeditating as well, but his clarity of thought also has to be appreciated here.
Absolutely. And some of the stats which are mind boggling, Sanjay, about Sky is in 2022, at death overs, he scored 233 runs from 93 balls, which is at a strike rate of 250, with 19 sixes and 19 fours. And this World Cup, his run tally is 215 runs with 75 average at a strike rate of 193. Again, he's the top strike rate achiever in this World Cup. One point I want to pick up on what Shivam and Vishak had said about picking boundaries and picking gaps. Yes, absolutely. But I also feel that Zimbabwe bowlers bowled him to absolute dollies. Right? Those they tried to go for Yorkers, and Surya Kumar Yadav was expecting them, and that's how he went about. But then, if you rewind back to the Pakistan game, which they have spoken about, that bounce into the body is where Surya Kumar Yadav is slightly vulnerable. So it'll be fascinating to see how England will approach him because there's Mark Wood, who's got extreme pace. There is Sam Curran. So, what's your thoughts, Sanjay? Surya Kumar Yadav will be a X factor for the knockouts for us?
Definitely. I mean, it's no coincidence that he's not got runs against Pakistan. I think in the 4 matches he's played, he's not got much. Yes, weak bowling attack today, but you look at that innings against South Africa. I think that's one of the best innings of the tournament. Closely behind, I would say Virat Kohli's one. So yes, all we need is players to deliver in crunch situations, and his game approach doesn't really change, be it 3 wickets down or he's coming at the end. I think he's easily the best finisher we've had in T20 format. If he bats in the last 4 5 overs, he'll get those runs. So he's making up for all the lost time. He's of the same age of Virat Kohli pretty much, so he's making up for all the lost time of that 2 3 year period where he was just about in the scheme of things, and he couldn't make it to the Indian side. So I think he's more hungrier than anyone, and he's got the game to back it. T20 is his format. He's the best middle order. Hello, best middle order guy for Mumbai Indians over the years, and he's showing what he can do. All we need is just 2 more cameos, 2 more good performances from him, and 1 or 2 other batters to back him, and then we'll be having a World Cup our way, because unlike AB de Villiers, we don't want Sky, such a brilliant player, to not have a cup to show for all his efforts over the years.
Absolutely. Fascinating two fixtures coming back. The first semi-final is between New Zealand and Pakistan on November 9th, Sydney Cricket Ground. The second semi-final is between India and England on 10th, Adelaide Oval. Sanjay, thanks for making time. Get ready for the fireworks in UK and the barbecue which you're going. Chuck, thanks for making time. Shivam, hopefully you feel better. Andy Handy and Anirudh Chakra, we will be pre, mid innings, and post match during semifinals. So do join us and tell your family and friends to click on that like button and subscribe. Hopefully, you enjoyed the triple header Sunday, and World Cup is coming to an end by the end of next week. Thanks for watching and see you later.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks everyone.